Welcome everyone to our weekly meeting of Democracy 3.0. We are an organization that innovates collaborative processes to build an inclusive consensus with the vision eventually of growing large enough to have influence in the real world. I want to go ahead and go through our living documents every week. If there are no objections, to keep them alive so they don't die. And today I also want to talk about building an online platform for I guess sort of a deliberative democracy process. And I also want to check, does anybody else have any proposals for agenda items for this week? If no other proposals, I will move to the documents. Hold on. Brian, I wanted to check with you. Are you happy to have Democracy 2.0 have a American Union living roadmap? It may not necessarily be for the whole AU organization, but it can be for sort of Democracy 3.0 AU activities. Just the
I guess I don't quite understand the question.
It's a document for keeping everyone up to date on where we are, what the vision is, and what are some actions that can be done to push the process forward. So I guess, with the one with the Democracy 3.0 probably would not really be the official AU, but it could represent things that we, Democracy 3.0 people are doing. Which roadmap do you guys see? AU? American Union?
American Union.
Okay. So background currently is around 2020. Government is, let's change this to early 2000s. Government in the United States is no longer optimally responsive to the needs and desires of the people. The American Union was created in
2019 or 2020. I don't remember exactly.
Before the election of 2020, right?
Yeah.
Does a block of swing voters influence require to politicians pass the legislation written, pass the crowdsourced? Oh, is that what we're calling it? Crowdsourced legislation?
That's what I call it.
Written by the Phoenix Congress. Next steps, Reddit blog post. Are you still taking text banking volunteers?
Yes.
Text banking volunteers.
Just scheduled another training for next Tuesday at 6:30 Eastern.
6:30 p.m.
Eastern, yep.
AU Economics is on the 13th. Is that right?
Yeah. I might not be able to make it. I'll be in DC at the Citizens Climate Lobby Conference.
Okay.
And I think I'm not sure how late it runs on Monday night.
Okay.
I have a meeting that night with Chiwa to play Citizens Assembly.
Okay. Oh, to play Citizens Assembly. Oh, fun. That's awesome. Yeah. I want to play Citizens Assembly. Okay. Anything else anyone wants to add, change, edit? Not, I'll move on to the next document. Organizational collaboration. Basically we figured it's, organizations can provide a lot of leverage. We want to have sort of a document a list of organizations that we can pull on. So we've got Deliberative Democracy, American Union, Mutual Aid DAO, United People's Assemblies, New York People's Assemblies, People's Party of Washington. Any ads, edits, changes? If not, we will move on to the next document. Democracy 2.0, the main document. By the early 2000s, government is no longer optimally responsive to our needs and desires. A study in 2014 that the likelihood of policy passing is unrelated to popularity among voters of that policy. That's pretty bad. Democracy 2.0 is created in January 2022. We meet weekly on Thursdays at 10 p.m. Have done some experimental work on consensus building. The insight is if we're bottom-up organization, every member is responsible for their own time and energy. There's no need for a unified plan of everything. The bottom-up process is based on sharing inspiration rather than direction. Conflict resolution is only necessary when members are working in opposition. Apparently, elite policy preference is somewhat efficacious. TC mentioned the 1912 Progressive Party platform. So we still want to get around to take a look at that. Vision is to create an open source. You guys know the vision. I just said that earlier in the meeting. So we've got our living roadmaps. We can reach out to organizations, invite them to Thursday meeting, study the history of past political conflict cycles, 80-year conflict cycles. Look into 1912, Teddy Roosevelt, the first party platform of his government. Anyone want to add, edit, change? Any work, any work that's occurring? Or if nothing else, I'll close this and we can start a new no idea here. If we are trying not to reinvent the wheel, we've got this sort of citizens assembly and sortition processes, which are kind of interesting and seem to do, some good things. And, maybe the next step is to sort of bring them, make them sort of available online. I think the standard version is sort of in person. Maybe what we should be doing is creating this online forum and getting people onto the online forum where we can have these processes to build consensus online. That's basically the idea. So TC, I love that you said that on Tuesday that you're playing Citizens Assembly, because yeah, I think we should sort of do that more, and like maybe maybe the result of that can be sort of a consensus document. Do you guys have a topic on Tuesday?
I have what?
A topic that you're discussing?
Yeah, we started out and we're going to have to change it a little bit because Brian pointed out that I was a little bit off track. But it started with the idea of cutting the military by 10%. And then the idea would be, we'll take that 10% and create the Green Corps, a military functioning Green Corps. And then it turns out all we're doing is we're just transferring the bases, all the resources of military. We're just going to take 10% of whatever we need to create this Green Corps and then add it 10% every year. But so it needs some discussion, and we're not going to do anything this year. And then the idea is if we really got it right and felt comfortable with it, then we would put it up to the public. And if we get an agreement, then everybody send a copy to their congressman and see if one of them will make a law and put it before the House or the whatever. It's streaming, but it's fun. We had a lot of fun, brainstorming.
Yeah, I mean, you could. I guess one of the things after you do these citizen assemblies, and hopefully eventually we can invite more people. Yeah, one of the actions could be to sort of
Well, this,
send it to politicians. And I'm thinking that the forum can have sort of in like an aggregation function. So like maybe if we had this online forum, this online platform, like you and Chiwa and maybe a few other people, you have a discussion, you create this consensus, and then that maybe posted somewhere in the on the platform, so that as more people have this discussions, then the results of those discussions get added to the consensus documents. And so it could be sort of like an asynchronous, um, sort of like Wikipedia, a little bit like an asynchronous consensus um, building tool.
well, what we're doing is a Google Doc.
Right.
We started out, we took part of the blueprint, the part that reduced the military and reduced the bases.
Yep.
And then we wrote in between those two things, what would be the findings and the intention of creating this green core.
Right.
And it's there
Yep.
for everybody to see.
Yeah.
I think I sent a bunch of people the link, maybe even you, I think.
Of which document?
I'll put it in the chat. Yeah, I was just playing Brian.
Playing at being Brian.
Well, Brian
Yeah.
created the whole idea that the citizens could write legislation and propose it to the Congress and put pressure on them to pass it.
Yeah.
That's the whole idea of what Brian's been working on. And
That's the whole idea of what I've been working on, but it's not really original to me. It's been around for a while.
well,
I'm just the chef. I'm the guy who combined lots of different ingredients into a brand new recipe.
yeah,
That's-
well, I got a belly full and I was going for it fast and furious.
yeah. That's what I'm doing too. That's what we got to do. We got to create 1 million Brians, and then your 3 million will be like easy. 1 million Brians bringing 3 people each.
So what happened, Eddie, is this guy on Facebook, he kind of slammed me really hard about being anti-war or whatever. And so I called Brian to kind of lick my wounds in front of a friend. And he told me he was going to this convention this weekend, and it's the Citizens Climate Lobby. They got over 200,000 people worldwide in this thing. It's very organized. I got in touch with them today. It's cool. And
What is
They're
it
just
called?
focused-
The Citizens Climate Lobby?
yeah, CCL, Citizens Climate Lobby.
Cool.
And
You got the comma or the apostrophe in the right place.
Haha, I'm good at that.
I caught it in the palm cards. I had it in the wrong place the first draft, and then I fixed it.
so when are you going, Brian? You're going on Sunday?
Yeah, the printer printed up the prevent needless gun deaths cards and the Citizens Climate Lobby cards today. So Saturday is the March for Our Lives protests. So I'm going to hit those in the afternoon and then be in DC that evening.
Cool.
Yeah, and then Sunday, Monday at the conference.
TC, what time are you meeting on Tuesday with Chiwa?
Scroll up just a little bit. Right above that picture is what we sent out is an invitation
Picture?
right
Oh.
there.
Okay.
What if
Oh, every
military
week.
spending?
Oh wow, at 5 p.m. Pacific time.
Yep.
Okay.
There you go.
And that's right now it's
It-
7:30 p.m. for you, right? Is that right?
About 7:25.
7:25.
So yeah, I posted that picture of Buckminster Fuller, and the guy told me bullshit.
Uh-huh.
We are war. We are born to war, and there'll be no solution other than war. I thought,
Right.
oh my God. Then I realized that there's a lot of not nice people out there, and I wanted to go be under the umbrella.
So yeah, so Eddie, you recognize that that's the same time as UBI economics or American
Yes.
Union economics, right?
Right. Okay, that's cool. Well, I'll hold the AU economics thing, and if no one comes, I'm gonna go find you, TC. If that's all right.
So, and then also, last night there was another thing. Nissan brought up that we could work on, which is that there's a ban on something that's important for hydrogen cars.
Yeah.
I
Right.
can't remember if he actually said what it was, but
Right. Yeah.
that's we could push for that to be taken off the banded list. Anyway,
Yeah.
any issue we could play with.
Yeah.
And
I still want to vet that. I've seen the YouTube video that Nissan shared on that, and I still want to vet it. I'm not 100% convinced that it is bona fide and legit.
oh, you saw that? You looked at that video?
Yeah, I took a look at that, and I like science stuff, so.
Eddie, if it's on the internet, it has to be true, right?
Right. Yeah, that's the thing, isn't it? That's the need for what we're doing. It's hard to tell. You gotta work together, figure out what's actually true.
Yeah, Eddie, we're the Environmental Defense Project Study Group. This is fun because I'm back to more like a witness and a cheerleader.
The Environmental Defense Study Group?
Yeah, Environmental Defense Study Group. No, the Environmental Defense Project Study Group on developing and proposing legislation to redirect military spending to fight climate change. And that's what we were doing. And of course, in that process, I realized the wisdom of putting all the wants for changes in one big bill, because I'm watching what they're trying to do there with the climate change, and they're making progress, but Brian gets his way, it'll happen, boom, and it'll be done.
Well, what is their, do you know what the CCL, what their sort of theory of change is? Like,
Well, yeah, their
Where
whole
it's gonna go.
focus is on the carbon tax.
mhm,
It's
Yeah.
a carbon tax and redistribution or something.
yeah, that's a good
And
idea.
I mean, they're excited that I'm coming in there with different ideas. But I know that from experience, they're going to want to focus on their views, and they're not going to want to, water it down with a bunch of different ideas. But in my little North County group, there's 973 people.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I'm saying this.
That's a lot of people. Yeah.
Yeah, this is a built organization, and I mean, as soon as you click join, you start getting emails and shit. It's heavy duty, but because they're having the convention, I didn't get the quickest response after that. That I think that was just the something set up automatic. When you click join, then you get these emails automatically. But I did talk to somebody today, and they were very friendly. And I got an email from my group coordinator or whatever. I'm happy. I asked Nissan if he wants to play. So that's the go. Never mind.
TC, is deliberative democracy the same thing as citizens assemblies? I guess that's a broader term, deliberative democracy.
Deliberative democracy is the idea of it would contain the citizens assembly.
Right, right, got it.
The deliberative democracy would be everybody voting on what the citizens assembly comes up with.
Right,
Or a committee of the citizens assembly would propose something, the city assembly might redefine it, and then it would go to the entire distributed to all the people to vote on.
right,
And if you have the major consensus of all the people, then you go to the Congress and say, okay, we're the lobby and this is what we want. Just like Brian's taught us how to do it.
or inspired us.
Yeah,
Wait
just
until-
just tell a million of your friends, please.
Yes. Wouldn't it be cool if everybody got inspired like this, like we are? It'd be fun.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's doable. I mean, I remember last time I was talking about shutting down the Thursday meeting, and Nissan was like, "What? Don't do that."
Right.
It's yeah, it's fun. I mean, I think there are certain number of people. There's certain people who would want to do these types of activities.
Well, see, one thing is we have a connection that we've earned over a period of time of meeting together like this. And so like we know each other, we know what we're up to. And so I don't know, when I get in these bigger groups, I don't know what that's going to be like.
爸爸有点
Might
忙，
not
宝贝。
like it. That's fun listening to you talk in
妈妈
Chinese.
不在是吧？我也没有宝贝，我没办法。你等妈妈，等妈妈回来吧。或者你问阿姨，你问阿姨有没有？Scott, how are you doing? You've been quiet.
Oh, got a lot going on, but yeah, I'm just being an observer tonight, just listening to what you guys are talking about. But doing okay. Just sitting in the back instead of driving. Kind of nice sometimes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is, isn't it?
I visited Scott yesterday in North Carolina, and they were having their big celebration. It's been a year, and they're all signed up and making all kinds of progress. He had a list, I don't know, 15 things they've accomplished in the last year. So
Yeah, I thought it was important that we celebrate. I mean, you can kind of get down about, well, you don't have enough members, or it's just not moving fast enough and all that. And a lot of us really want change, and we've been wanting it for a long, long time, and we're just getting impatient and fed up and sometimes irrational, but we don't understand that still things that you build, what the good book says, you build something, you build a good solid foundation, and then moving forward, it will stand the test of time. And we're building a lot of structures and things that are going to reform society, I believe. And those things take dedication and work. I mean, you got the whole Hollywood thing, everybody wants to be a star and everybody wants immediate gratification, and you look at all these wars. I noticed something the other day, these video games where these fools are going through here shooting buildings down and killing people and everything. And for some reason, I thought to myself, when these clowns get through blowing all these buildings up, guess who comes in and saves the day? It's the bricklayers, it's the concrete people, it's the carpenters, it's the people who rebuild society, the builders, the teachers, the healers. These are the ones that get when man is through doing his egomaniacal crazy stuff, and the salt of the earth folks will rise up and rebuild it right, rebuild it good. But yeah, it's not a real fashionable thing to do, not in vogue, and a lot of people don't want to spend their free time, doing these boring kinds of things. And I mean, but they need to be done so that, that candidate that runs and wins, well, whole lot of blood, sweat, and tears was put into putting that candidate up there on, you know, in that running. So that's what a lot of people don't think about, but it's, and I mean, that's kind of my motivations for, you know, because I was going through that. I said, well, I'll just go ahead and let's see what we've done this whole year. And I mean, I just come up with all this stuff that we did that I've seen some groups that are just having a hard time getting out of the gate. And we just, you know, smaller groups sometimes move quicker and they're more nimble. And I think that's kind of what we have. And so we're able to move quickly and get a lot of these things in place as far as what we're trying to accomplish. But you guys and the UPA seem like you're the process, that part of it, you know, it seems like the process part is where you guys are really strong and working on that, which is excellent as well. So, you know, I'm
Hey,
hoping that,
Scott, I want to ask you a question.
yeah.
I didn't mean to cut you off, but if I don't ask it, I'll forget it.
I understand. Go ahead.
How are you in your group related to, because Brian's right there in North Carolina too. I don't know. I don't think you're very close to each other, but how are you in agreement with what each other are doing? Do you have any connection there at all?
You, who are you referring to?
To
Yeah,
the union, the American Union, Brian in the American, I know you're a member.
Yeah. I mean, that's about, you know, it's not really, you know, I mean, signing up, you know, but as far as, I don't know if our activities or anything, no, haven't participated in any of that. I don't know what you really have going on.
Right, we don't. So I'm curious about who's Brian, is he in a swing district?
I'm not sure
No.
where Scott's at. But yeah, I mean, that's why I went and plugged in with the People's Party right away, because there's a lot of overlap. We recognize the same problems that are wrong in this country, and we're fed up and frustrated. And something needs to be done. So
Yeah, so we also are forming our 501c4, which is Populist Action of North Carolina. And that's going to be where we can really put some support behind different groups and candidates as well. And that's kind of why we created that one as well, so that we could do that. We can unite with other groups and give them our support. And even if it's nothing more than a press release, an endorsement of a candidate or a cause or something like that, you know. But I think there's a whole lot that can be done, and you know, that'll come down, you know, to events and things like that. And you know, we'll be on the same road. We'll be walking down the same path in a sense. And all these different causes and things, I'm pretty sure a lot of us are going to be going to those similar events. We may, you know, and every group is probably going to be putting on events that we'd like other people to come and support. So I see it as a win-win, you know.
I got another question, Scott.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Now that you're getting your paperwork done and you're getting your organization set up, now the things you were just saying a minute ago about getting out and being more active, you're going to have more focus on that now, right? Because you have your work done.
Oh yeah, definitely. We got to be, yeah, we're going to be working on messaging quite a bit. I know me personally, I mean, that's kind of, the website is kind of my thing. And we know that that's going to be one of the primary ways that people will find out about us. Our messaging will be there. We take our donations and all of that there, which we're just now getting taken care of. But I mean, yeah, we got to get out in the community. We got to go to events. We got to get out, especially with the poor. I mean, nobody talks about the poor or cares about the poor anymore. And heck, I would like to see our group with pairs of people going out into the poorest of neighborhoods and handing out business cards or literature or what have you, and talking, actually, believe it or not, talking to people, you know, and because it's the People's Party, and our focus is on people and the problems that they have in the state primarily, but also those are more than likely going to be national issues as well. So yeah, you're absolutely right. We're going to be in an outreach, building membership, and also getting name recognition. And we're going to need the ballot line access is going to be a bit of a tough pull because of the amount of signatures. And I was just watching a thing from Matthew Ho last night, little video Stacy shared, and he was talking about they paid people in the Green Party, paid people to go out and get signatures and all this. You could spend a boatload of money getting people to get your signatures for you, and then it turns into a money game again. But I still think that Bernie Sanders proved if you could get everybody to give $27, you can even outraise the big boys, and that's kind of what our thinking is. But it's going to be it's going to be challenging, man. But I mean, what else are we going to do? I mean,
it's hard to break through, isn't it?
Yeah, but I mean, if the people want it, then we want to give them a platform. But the people gotta want it, and I'd hate to say this, I really do, but I think that this nation is full of coddled people and people who are uneducated, and I think the elite wanted them stupid so they can control them easier. And so now you have a nation full of people, and then now you scare them with terrorists and guns and wars and viruses and all this. I mean, they don't know which way is up because they're all being distracted by, and Mr. Rich Man, Mr. Wall Street, he's laughing all the way to the bank because we're sitting here trying to figure out whether or not we should buy a gallon of gas or a gallon of milk, so it's an up down game here, and it's class warfare, pure and simple. And the rich people are kicking our butts right now. So, but yeah, it's man's inhumanity to man as well, because, how else can you describe something like that? Either that or.
Now, I remember you live near Winston-Salem, is that?
I'm Winston-Salem, yeah.
Now, Brian, where's that in the scheme of things?
About 3 hours northwest of me.
Is that one of the swing districts?
I'm not, District 6 is maybe swingable, but not really. I don't know.
All right. I'm working.
But Scott, if you're interested in, there's a March for Our Lives rally on Saturday. If you're interested in canvassing, handing out literature and stuff there on Saturday, let me know and I can get some stuff out your way.
Where is it now?
Where is in Winston-Salem?
Oh, you got something going on in Winston?
The March for Our Lives, the gun, anti-gun rallies or whatever.
Right,
exactly.
right.
So they got like 10 different events going around North Carolina. So I'm going to be at the one in Raleigh. But there's one in Winston-Salem too.
Yeah. If you can forward that information to me, or if you got a website or something I should go to, just let me know.
Yeah, you just March for Our Lives, North Carolina.
Yeah, let me write that down. Pen never worked. Cool. Yeah, I can we put that on Gilded too, and just in case somebody is interested in coming. Well, actually, there's some all over the state, right, Brian?
Yeah. There's one in Charlotte on Sunday, and there's a couple on. There's like I said, there's like 10 all over the state.
What is the primary focus of that whole thing?
Didn't that start with
ending gun violence?
I think it started with those kids from Parkland back 2 or 3 years ago. They started this March for Our Lives.
Yeah.
And what is the, I mean, yeah, but I mean, what is the point? I mean, like, don't do guns, don't do
Yeah.
what? What is the action plan here? March for Our Lives means quit selling guns or,
Yeah, I'm not real clear on it. Sorry.
yeah, well, I tell you, I'll weigh in on that and I don't know that people gonna agree with me, but the problem ain't guns here. We've had plenty of guns in this nation for a long period of time. We have a mental health crisis in
Right.
this. That's the problem. We have these kids who are bullied and then they don't know how to handle their aggression and they don't have good parents and the people at school don't give a crap. And so here this kid is hung out to dry. He's frustrated. He's mad. And this is all these are young males too. And what do? Well, they can easily get a gun and just go shoot people. And that's crazy. People do those things. Okay. It's not really rocket science there. Okay. So what we need is some awesome solutions that are going to address the problem adequately. So yes, I don't think we should be able to buy assault rifles, but but I don't think that's going to solve the problem, stopping assault rifle sales, but it could help maybe, but the core, let's go to the core of problems here. Okay. Let's go to the source of the problem and then we can stop that kind of behavior. But society is always putting band-aids or treating the symptoms of the problem and instead of actually looking at the root of the problem.
Right.
You know?
In talking about the root, I think the root goes to the fact that we are a country that solves problems with violence. We are a military country. We've been in more. I think there's only been like 32 years in our nation's history that we weren't in a war. And so, like you say, all the things that you just listed, and then you put that in a culture of violence, you got trouble.
Yeah, it's just a powder keg waiting to blow here. It really is. And they keep squeezing on everybody. You're just going to see things get nastier and more crazy. So we've got a big challenge ahead of us as a race, as a species, or would it be species or race? But I mean, as a race, I mean, I honestly don't know if humans are going to make it past 2030 the way things are going. I hope I'm wrong, but we gotta really turn this around quick, or
That's my personal goal is 2030. I'll be 80 or something. So I don't think I'm going to make it along much past 2030, but that's why I'm always impatient. Let's go, let's do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, time's running.
Scott, that link I just posted in the chat is a link to the palm cards that I'm going to be handing out on Saturday. And so, yeah, so how to reducing the needless gun deaths, which I think goes to your point that it's not that these are symptoms of larger problems.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah, man. I'm looking at it now. Yeah,
Yeah.
the Blue Better America, I just glazed over it. I got to really read it. So I apologize, but I haven't been able to go through the whole thing yet. But it, from what I can see, it looks pretty comprehensive though.
Oh yeah.
There's a lot of problems in this country that need to be addressed.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Just name something, you know?
And well, yeah. And, and so many of them are interconnected and overlapping. Yeah. So anyways,
Well, he hit 50 of them and we keep finding more. So
you gotta stop somewhere.
I know.
But three main talking points for a campaign: end poverty, end mass incarceration, and the endless wars.
And I was writing 5 titles. Title 5 is the subtitle B is the carbon tax. So I told the people when I introduced myself to that group, I told them about that we have a carbon tax in the blueprint. This for me, this is like I had to quit buying lottery tickets because every time I would buy one, I'd think I was going to win. And then I'd be so disappointed when I didn't win. And I have a trouble now with everything I see. I get so excited because, oh, wouldn't it be great if we had this? And then reality comes in and it's like, well, it's a lot of work. So I'm on a roller coaster. I wrote the other day, life is a mystery and I'm going through it on a roller coaster.
He's on the roller coaster of life.
Yeah. How you doing, Eddie? You're quiet. You're muted.
Brian, I like that you put this address wealth inequality here and mentions the U.S. first experienced the wave of mass shootings during a period of wealth inequality in the 1930s. That's pretty interesting.
Yeah, I was reading Sebastian Junger's book, Tribe, and I came across that and I was like, oh, well, okay. So this, again, this fits with this 80-year cycle of the same problems keep cropping up again.
Right.
But yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I see that everywhere. Everything I read.
It's true, right?
Yeah.
If people are like, well, what's the point? What's the point of trying to work hard and get ahead when, you know, all these things are stacked against me? Like, and some people just give up. And so while it may be effective to limit the ways that they can violently give up, the better solution is to help everybody succeed.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, really.
Can you imagine how much abundance we would have if everybody had their needs met and were working on their passions?
I remember back when I was in high school, a big political topic was what's it called? Assisted suicide.
Yep.
And I think that's legal in Canada. And now you have articles about people who are like, I can't pay the rent. You know, I'm gonna go, like, I'm just, you know, that's
Right.
what I'm gonna do. So that was, you know, didn't see that coming, and that's pretty dystopian. Yeah.
Well, it's still, I mean, it's still mostly illegal in the United States. And this was a problem that 25 years ago just seemed so common sense that you figured it would have been solved by now, to let people make their own decisions about their lives. And yet it's still not. Anyways,
Right.
Eddie, I was going to ask you if you've read this, or your the Dawn of Everything, a New History of Humanity.
I have not read that.
David Graeber. I looked him up the other night because I watched a presentation on him of like a history of debt, or 5,000 years of silent weapons for quiet. I can't see the last word, Scott.
Wars.
Wars. Okay.
This is a pretty interesting little book, man. But anyway, not as good as yours, probably.
I don't know. I'm only on chapter 3, but someone else had recommended it to me a while ago, and I got it from the library, and I was like, man, I don't have time to read this. And I returned it because there was a waiting list. And then I came across it again, and I'm like, all right, maybe I'm supposed to read this. But anyways, it's starting at the beginning, essentially, of, you know, how did we get to this, how did society become the way it is? Like, what were the things that formed it? And you know, anyways.
Well, you know, my little presentation, I don't know if all of y'all were here. Brian was here, but anyway, it was that really does resound with me, the 5 steps to peace. You know, where you're, you know, all this, you know, gets started by people's belief systems, whether, you know, and in the early days, you know, the belief systems were such that, you know, it made sense to them, and but to continue on in the old ways that don't work in our society just does not, it's not producing the results we want it to. It's not functional anymore. And so I don't know, I'm off on a tangent here, but it just made me realize how and why politics and religion are so closely tied. It's because it's basically politics is the implementation of your belief system. So it is your spirituality in essence. You believe that, we should be ruled, or we should govern this way, or that this is right or this is wrong. And these, and so therefore you create laws based on those ideas of morality at the time, I mean.
Scroll down a little bit, Eddie, on this. I want to talk about what I brought up a minute ago. It's on this list. Scroll down a little bit. There's somewhere it says,
The third bullet point.
yeah,
Thing.
here it
Yeah,
is.
it's flagged, yeah.
Okay, it's the next one. Diminished military glorification. Decades of endless wars have influenced our culture by teaching that killing makes us strong. Reducing the size and scope of our military adventure will shift our society towards more peaceful principles. And that's what I was saying before. And Brian's already got it covered. So one more time, if I think about it, I'll see it. Somebody else is already doing it.
Yeah, Matt Taibbi wrote a piece in Rolling Stone after the Parkland shooting that really dug into this and about how military glorification influenced the culture. I try and give him credit for that.
Put a link in there. It talks a little bit about the guns and the psychology behind it and all that. It's a YouTube video. It's 10, 12 minutes, but it's really well worth it, done by a doctor, a psychiatrist.
Harriet Fraud.
Yeah. And really good points that she made. And talks about, why we're in the place we're in and some of the things I just brought up. It really is a salient piece, and it does, the whole thing about military glorification. It's like, why do we every daggum game we have these? They get the flyers that go over the stadium, or the color guard walks out, and yes, because they always want you to be thinking about them. They always want to be making themselves look good. It's just a PR campaign. They've been doing that for a long time now. They learned their lesson in Vietnam.
Yeah.
Okay. Because they didn't want them body bags coming back, you see. So they figured it out. And they said, well, we got to make sure that the American public doesn't see the cost of war. And so, ever since like the Iraq war and going forward, I mean, you don't see any of that stuff anymore, but you do see all of the, yes, the brave soldiers, and America is so right, and everybody else is the bad guy, and we're going to save the day, and all this Lone Ranger kind of stuff. We're the world's savior and all that, but it's just a big old PR game, and
Right.
so many people have bought into it, and it's sad, I
Yeah,
mean,
people-
what pisses me off is when we let the recruiters go into high schools. That's child abuse, in my opinion. Those people shouldn't be allowed in the high schools. Those military recruiters. How vulnerable you think an 18 or 17-year-old is? You go in there and you fill them full of crap and tell them how great it is and play some video games with them. Well, of course, they're going to want to just, hey, let's go join the military. It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. The killing people will be fun.
Well, that's why I want to start a Green Corps, and I'm going to pay them. You get 15% more to be in the Green Corps for the same rank. And
I like that idea. I love it. Yeah, good idea.
take 10% of all the military resources, bases, equipment.
Well, you're being generous to them.
Yeah,
And
but
which,
it's 10% a year.
yeah, okay, that's cool. Yeah, that way you kind of let them down easy. Of course, I would love to cut that military budget 50% right off the top, and then go from there. But that's probably that's too aggressive, though, I guess.
Nissan said, take it all. So you're halfway between 10% and take it all.
Yeah. Yep. Well, you know, it's just gotten way out of hand, especially if you cost it out with what we're supposedly spending 10 times more than all the other countries combined on military. You know, it's what, $768 billion this year. I
Seven
mean,
hundred and 73 on the military, and it's 800 and something if you count the defense, the Homeland Security stuff.
that's wrong, wrong, wrong.
And
That's why.
yeah, I don't want to get too much down into it, but the thing where they can just spend money on that like it's no discussion, no debate, and
Mhm.
we can't get anything for the people. So
Yeah, and they call it like black ops or whatever, and it's national security. Then they can hide all that. They can hide whole lots of money. They have so much money, it's not even funny. The military does, and you know, that's in my personal opinion. I think that's who's really running the show in this country now. Is the military industrial complex. I mean, but they're kind of like, you know, sharing the stage with the corporate, you know, the healthcare industry,
right, and the pharma
big
colleges.
industry, the tech companies. I mean, the country is run by industry. And then the military, as long as you let those defense contractors make their money, they won't rock the boat too much. But you know, the reason why they have facilities in every state is so they can put leverage
Right.
on those congressional people and say, well, we'll tell you what, we'll yank your base out of there, see how your voters feel about you then. You know, and it's really a powerful game. It's real hardball, you know. They can kind of pretty much get their way. But that's the kind of entities that we are dealing with. Very, very sophisticated, very well funded. But
So instead of taking the base all the way out, we just take 10% a year, turn it over to focus on fighting climate change, and that'd be a little bit less for military, a little bit more for Green Corps.
yeah, well, I think that's a good idea, and I hope we've got enough time. Even if we engaged it right now, though, do you think we got 10 years? I don't know. But you know, it is, you know, I would definitely back that plan.
Yeah.
On that note, we are coming
Yeah,
up on I think we're past the hour, so I'm
we're
gonna
past the
say we're
hour.
officially ended for the meeting, and everybody's welcome to stay on and chat as you like.